Hello, my name is M.K. Davis. I'd like to share something with you today that I think is outstanding. And it has to do with a museum in Winnemucca, Nevada. And this museum has become rather controversial as it allegedly has in its possession some skulls that are of outstanding size and unusual in nature. So when you go to that museum now, and I went there in 2014, they deny that these skulls exist. So these skulls are in connection with an Indian legend that has it that there were a tribe of red-haired giants. And these giants were killed by a coalition of Indian tribes. And the last remaining few were burned alive in a cave outside of Lovelock, Nevada. And this cave also bearing the name Lovelock Cave. So, it's a great story. But these skulls are more than a story. And recently, I have come into possession of photographs that are 40 years old, or there and about, that were taken down in the basement of the Humboldt Museum. I wanted to share these with you because they're so outstanding. Let's just begin with some scans of these prints. Let's start with this one. Here it is. Now, in this photo, there's not any size reference, but what's unusual is the teeth. Take a good look at the teeth here. We'll boost the contrast a little bit and zoom in. Oh, wow. That's different. This is what they call a double row of teeth. Interesting, isn't it? Let's take a look at this. On either end of the table, of the shelf here, are two skulls turned the other way, the opposite way where you're looking at them from the back. Now, one of the distinguishing features of these skulls that are turned away is their shape, which is distinctly Polynesian. Now, the reason I say that is because a Polynesian skull, when viewed directly from behind, forms the shape of a pentagon. Let's look at this photo. Now, here I have inserted, it's a mounted specimen of a Polynesian skull viewed from behind. And you see it's got that vaulted cranium, and it's got the sides, and you can see that skull on either end of this shelf are identical to this skull. They are Polynesian skulls, identified by their shape. Another interesting feature of a Polynesian skull is the jaw. The jaw on a Polynesian skull, and this is a model of a Polynesian skull created by bone clones. If you'll notice that the jaw turns upward toward the chin, and they call this a rocker jaw. In other words, you can sit there and rock it like a rocking chair, and it's distinctly Polynesian. Now, the big skull there, the big skull on display. Let's take a look at the jaw on the big skull. Here are the two skulls compared. Polynesian skull on the right, and then the Humboldt Museum skull on the left with the double rows of teeth. You'll see that the chin turns up on both individuals. So they are both Polynesian in origin. Now that really presents a conundrum. What are Polynesians doing in the ancient American West? And particularly giant Polynesians. This skull that they had on display was very large. Let's go back and look at compared to the normal skulls. Here's a comparison. hope you can see that this is a very large skull. Evidently from Polynesia. At some point in time, at least the ancestry is. Here's another picture. Here's that photo again with the Polynesian skulls on either end. Even though they're turned the other way, we can see that they're pretty much dwarfed by that big one. And the big one's had some repair work done to the back of the skull, and they've left a plaster or some kind of white mastic to kind of hold it together. You can see the guano stains on this skull from lying in that guano of Lovelock Cave for who knows how many years. So these are the skulls that the museum says never existed. They were never there. 40 years ago, though, they were there. And they got photographed very well. So, who was it that these skulls belonged to? What people that their lives ended in this cave, in this huge conflagration, in this cave near Lovelock, Nevada? Who are these people who were huge and giant? The Indians said had red hair all over their bodies, and their skulls say they were from Polynesia. Who are they? As you can see in these flyers that they distribute at the museum, they're not ever going to tell. But we got the pictures. I thank you for your time.